Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome everybody to another glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Coach B. And we are podcasting at the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. POR. SBR is my Twitter handle. And then I'll let Coach B say his. So what can I find you on Twitter?
It's Coach B. It's at Blue Devil 21. That's BLUEDVL21. And catch me at all the time. Gridiron Bullies in the mornings. And pretty soon at We Run the Yard. So
okay.
Yeah.
Some new label. Okay, I got you. Got you. What's else going on?
Like you said, the quiet, the silence is definitely right.
It's definitely.
Silence
So here's
here's
my biggest point with them. So I was going through the list of like with USC, and obviously we're talking about the whole DT situation. But okay, fine. They got played by Isaiah Rakes. He knows he can't go from SEC school to SEC school, so we use USC. Right. Okay, fine, whatever. But you can't let Stanley Tuofu go. You can't let Deshaun Lafie go if you don't have anybody you know for a fact is coming in.
Right, absolutely.
So that's where the biggest miss is for me. Is like if you like when those guys went, I'm like, oh, they got people coming. Like they don't got people coming, and obviously the landscape is changing to the point where like it's not about development, it's not about nothing, it's about straight cash, homie. And these kids know. These kids know that, like, you know, defensive line is it's not wide receiver, it's not running back, it's not even quarterback. Like they are the prime steak, you know, the filet mignon of this whole situation. And they're just not gonna settle for nothing but top dollar.
And absolutely, right. And I think the one of the misnomers, right, is when it's California, we got all the money. It's SC, we got all the money, right? So they come and they're expecting to I think some of their expectations is a lofty number that isn't there for them, right? And so I don't think any school is matching what we could offer. I just think that I think they're going to schools for less. They just thought they were going to get a bigger number here. You feel what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like
so kind of like in baseball. In baseball, if you're a big time free agent and you make sure that your agent has the Yankees and the Mets in the mix, and the Dodgers in the mix, even though you probably don't want to go there, you probably want to go to somewhere else, but you want to get the highest deal possible from where you really want to go.
Right. And if I'm not getting that deal, then I'll come over to the Yankees, Dodgers, and Mets, right?
Yeah.
To get that money, but that's not really why I really don't want to be there. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to drive up the market. And some of these schools, and what they're doing is they're coming over to SC, and we're really not offering the money they thought in their mind that we were going to be offering, right? We're not offering the NIL deals they thought they were going to get out of California. It's not what they're really going to get. So they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to go here, where I'm comfortable at, and for a little bit less, right? Yeah. And again, I think we're on a prove it. And so part of this too is, as I was thinking through it, we're on a prove it mission, right? Yeah. We got to prove. Guys are not wanting to build; they want to be. It's microwave, right? It's not the Sabans of old. It's not the LSCs. It's not the Georgias. It's not those teams that had 4 and 5 stars that could be, we say, hey, look, just learn the system. Next year we'll get you in. You're gonna get those runs, and you're gonna get to the league. They're not wanting that anymore. And again, with us, we're on a prove it deal because of, and Lincoln can blame himself. The last 2 years, our defense was atrocious, right? And so now you got a new guy who, for all purposes, we know him because he's been in our conference, but he's not proven. He's not proven on the national landscape. He's not a Kirby Smart. He's not a proven defensive coordinator, Venables. He's not a proven guy like a Lanning. He doesn't have a proven track record that he can be in here and say, we're going to lock down this defense.
I think also that some of these players they feel like they're going to the whether they're right or wrong, and a lot of them like prove it. They'll prove through the years that they're going to be wrong. Is that they think they're like, oh yeah, you have Coach Henny, yeah, you have Coach Lynn, but I'm going to the league anyway.
Right.
And some of these kids are not going to the league. They're going to
right.
They end up being undrafted free agents who just end up on practice squad for a little bit, and they're not, and they don't get drafted. Where if they did make that, they did make that move and come to SC and get developed and stay for a couple of years, or even any major program, and did that, they would actually be ready to go to the league. Because the undrafted free agent to the guy who gets drafted is not that much of a difference.
Right, and absolutely right. And so, also they're not willing to. And again, it's about the process. The one thing that we've learned over so much time, I said before, I said again, we're in a microwave generation. The process matters. Yeah. These guys don't want the process anymore. You know what I mean? The name on the helmet doesn't matter anymore. We can't roll out the helmet anymore and say, hey, you need to come over here. We can do that in California, right? Yeah. We can do that but we can't even do that on the West anymore because let's be honest, Oregon is stealing players. Oregon's taking players. Let's not trick ourselves into believing that, and people, they have Nike money, which is true. But at the same time, they have a proven commodity that people are wanting. No, I submit if they had a better quarterback last year, they'd have been in a better place, right? Been in a better situation.
I don't even think that. I know, honestly, I don't. Maybe because I like Bo Nix more than most. I felt like the first game they played against Washington, I thought Dan Lanning lost that game. He was going for 2 every 5 seconds for no reason.
No, he absolutely did, right? So when you go to the next game, but I don't think he lost it there, and that was my question. So when I look at that, I'm saying when I say Bo Nix, I feel like you have to be able to open up the field more, keep your defense off the field, and be able to do some things. They weren't able to do that at that position. So to me, it's like I just look at that and say, well, what can they hang their hat on? They're a proven defense. That's what they can hang their hat on, right? They can hang their hat on. And what are they doing? What are they stealing right now? High caliber defensive guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We can't hang our hat on that because we don't have a proven guy. Dan Lanning can go, I coached defense at Georgia. I was good. I coached defense at Oregon. I'm good. You feel what I'm saying? He can say those things.
And he also, like I said, Danton Lynn would have been the perfect guy to come in last year. You know, and because and this would have been year 2. And I think what Lincoln is like, do SC fans have the patience to wait for the Michigan? They went from losing to Appalachian State to, winning a national championship. Do they have the patience to wait for it? And I don't know if people have the patience to wait for it. And I don't think people have the patience to wait for it because USC is not Michigan. And I just don't know if these defensive, if they show any sign of the problem with having Danton Lynn is this, and having an NFL coach having a coach who was defensive coordinator in college who has NFL ties, is the minute a position opens up, you can't tell me that he's not gonna go to it. And then I'm not faulting him for it at all, but you can't tell me that he's not gonna think about it. Like if Sean McVay, the Rams defense doesn't do well the next year, and Sean McVay says, hey, I want to taste of that Raven defense. I'll give you the full autonomy to run the defense here. Just let me score points. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's
he's gone. We're back at square one.
Back at square one. So,
yeah, we're back at square one, and that's the thing to me.
You almost don't want to be too good next year,
right? And so that's the thing to me, right? That's why I kind of wanted. That's why Dave Aranda, right? David has no because Dave Aranda should have had an NFL defense coordinator job at this point already.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have no desire to go there. So I wanted that guy back because he's proven he can recruit.
And he's a college guy. He's a
college guy, right? So we know that he's here. Only problem is he'll probably get another shot as a college head coach, but we know we'll have him 2 to 3 years. Like you said, with Tony Lynn, I don't know. His dad's in the NFL. What if his dad gets another job? You don't think his dad's bringing his son with him? Like all those things come into play, right? Coach Haney has NFL ties. He's already been there before. don't think Coach Haney might don't want to go back. Like all those things, like I don't want to be in this purgatory defensively year in and year out.
Yeah, and the hope is the hope is that he's here for at least, I would say at the very least 2. So we'll see.
Right.
I mean, we'll see what happens as far as that goes. And then with that case has to be, you have to hope somebody on that staff is good enough to take the reins after he does go. But I do think, like I said, I think the biggest problem I have with the whole situation is like I get it. Like they want to, I mean, you heard what Brian Kelly said this week about not buying defensive players and they're trying to develop. I get it. I understand it, but I'm just saying, like, you know, there's some famous folks who went to USC. Like, hey,
Right.
like, I know you can write this off. So like, let me just get this money for this player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give us that donation. And then, you know what I'm saying? So when you come on Saturdays, we can finally give you the product that you really want to see. Because it's really frustrating for us. I mean, because we're in it, we're USC fans, and when we do the show, but like they literally, that's the missing piece to this entire defensive unit. They actually have a bunch. They have great competition at the linebacker position. The best man's going to play. Same thing in the secondary. Like, it's exciting to see what they have everywhere else. And like, you know, you coach defense. So I think the question I have for you is there a way you can run a defense without having that help, that beef in the middle when folks want to go heavy personnel and just run the football?
There is, right? But it's gonna be, are we tackling along the secondary, right? Are we a good tackling team?
Yeah.
Because you can do that. We're just gonna blitz you all day, and we're gonna figure it out, right? Yeah. We're gonna take those gaps away. When you want to go heavy personnel, we're gonna make, because we can play man on the outside. If that's what you want to do, we'll lock up on the outsides, and then we'll figure out everything else on the inside, right? Mm-hmm. Teams are, but with the understanding that teams are gonna move the ball, it's just that the when you want to do that, it's more onus on the offense to be perfect. Why? Because you can't get in negative, you can't get in 3rd and 6. It's not going to work out for you, right? You can't get in those down. You have to be in 2nd and 7 and shorter in order for that to continue to work for 60 minutes of football, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work, because the moment you end up in 2nd and 9, good luck. We know what you're gonna do. Yeah, now we're passing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Now all bets are off. So you gotta be perfect, right? You gotta be perfect to every play. We only gotta be perfect once, because we know that your defense is not gonna keep up with this offense.
Exactly.
We're very aware of that. And then what happens is that, let's say we get you twice. Oh boy, now you gotta change up the whole offensive scheme. Yeah, right? You got to change what you want to do, because now you got to throw the ball a little more. Now that the clock is against you, running ain't gonna help you. You got to be a little bit more balanced, right? And we can play man coverage and still get to you.
And that's the thing that. Go ahead.
Oh, and by the way, now we can blitz you out of like weird fronts. We can blitz you. We can do things now, and blitz
the slot corner can come, like all stuff like that. Yeah,
we can do all kind of weird stuff, because while we're playing man coverage, so we can roll coverages, and like you said, bring the slot corner. We can bring the backside guy. We can drop an edge. There's so many different things that we can do now in our blitz packages, because now you're playing into our game.
The people like, am I missing the burner wide receivers in the Big Ten? Besides Ohio State. Like, I just we know that people keep, like, a bench. I mean, that's the whole key. If they can, I mean, it's a lot to ask Kobe Pepe to kind of step in, but like, I mean, they'll probably get some of the lower level. I mean, maybe Stephen F. Austin kid will go by. Will come in who's well over 300 pounds. They just need one of those guys just to rotate. But I mean, I think people realize that, like, they just don't. I think once the game gets into the high 20s, like, these teams usually it just doesn't. It's just not a good look for these teams. It's just not.
And so to me, I think it's over. I think the whole offensive philosophy from the Big Ten traditionals are overrated. Wisconsin's gonna heavy personnel and try to just run and run and run and run, and they're gonna live that way. right?
Do you think the kid starts this year? Riolo starts this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely starts. That's why Nebraska's not going to do it, right? Because they're not built that way now. Yeah. You got a guy who's back there. He came there to start this year. He came. He didn't come there just so we could have some plan. That wasn't it. So again, traditionally, those Big Ten, there's only a few Big Ten teams who's gonna run it like that, heavy personnel, and have been proven to be successful to a decent stint, right? We get Wisconsin at home. Penn State's not going to do that. James Franklin, he's not going to do that.
He wants to throw the football.
Yeah, he has Drew Allard. He's not going to do that, and he doesn't have the backs anymore, right? They lost both corners. He knows he can't get behind against us. Oh, and by the way, you lost your defensive coordinator. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Michigan, they're not going to do that. They're going to have to try to put the ball in the air. They're going to have to.
They're going to run it, though.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to run it.
Yeah, they're going to run it. Yeah, they're going to run it. They're going to try to do it. Michigan's going to try to run it down the throat. Michigan's going to spend that first half of that game trying to run the football just to see if they can actually break through. So, but we'll see. We'll see who's in the we'll see who's in the portal. See what happens with as far as that goes. If you're in right now, you can still change teams. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Somebody was talking about trying to have one of the defensive linemen offensive linemen switch over just to see if they could do it. I'm like, I'm not. I mean, I like the idea, right? I like to be creative. I don't mind guys being creative, just to spell guys, right? If we're talking about spelling a guy, for a play here and there,
plays here and there, spelling a guy. Because at the end of the day, if we're okay on the offensive line and we can do that, just to spell a guy, cool. You know what I mean? I'm with that. Because we're gonna need that offensive line heavy, right? We know our offensive line. This game is gonna be won if we can put up points. There's not gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be able to deal with us if we can put up points. It just isn't. Exactly. It isn't. You know what I mean? Exactly. And I feel like we can run Big Ten play. Notre Dame still worries me. And that game against the other kids still worry me because it's just a rivalry game. But I feel like we can run Big Ten play. I don't feel like this is a game we should lose. And here's why. People always talk about Michigan. Michigan did lose 19 players. Like, let's be clear. 20 players. Let's be very clear about that. Right? They lost 19 to the league in that one transfer. Cool, but you lost 19 to the league.
Yeah.
Right? So let's be honest about what we're talking about here. Michigan I think they're going to be a good football team. I think they're going to take a little dip, though. I honestly am, and I think we're going to be able to take advantage of.
I do think it's weird how some Michigan fans don't think, and whether they beat USC or not, then we'll see what happens. But like, to have no dip, I mean, that's just that's a little homerish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know on offense we're gonna take a dip from going from Caleb to Miller Moss. Or Jaden Mayava, like, we know that, like, so we can acknowledge that. I don't know why Michigan can't just acknowledge the fact that you're gonna take a little bit of you're gonna take a dip without having Jim Harbaugh, having that coaching staff, having that having a quarterback, all that stuff like that. They don't know who the quarterback's gonna be as well too. So, you mentioned the offensive line. And just want to bring up a little bit with Josh Henson. I know they're bringing it. They're talking to one of these kids. I forgot who it is. Somebody I don't know who he used to coach. Might be coming in for a transfer as well. He was on campus the other day. Doesn't have good PFF numbers, and I'm wondering, like, okay, like, is it set up right now? Is Monahan going to be the center? Like, are we going to bring somebody else in to be the center? Are we shuffling the line? Because the line can't be this. There's not a Bugs Bunny back there to run around now. Like, he's not a statue of Miller Moss, but he's not going to be running the football all over the place like Caleb Williams. I heard that he's going to get the ball out on time and be more effective from a lot of people after the Holiday Bowl. You should have seen the comments and the thing.
I already know.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Joe. I was like, whatever. It's one game. Just calm down. But is he going to be the Alex Grinch part of this season? Because if the offensive line fails, then Like, Lincoln's like he's not going to stand for his offense getting asked out here as far as the season goes.
I think that so here's what I think. I think he has a little more leeway when we're talking about him because I think that we are trying to get our offensive line together, and I think Lincoln is being so hands-on with the offense. I think Lincoln understands our offensive woes. I think the problem with Lincoln was he didn't really understand what was going wrong defensively with Grinch. Grinch was telling him, "Oh, we could have been there. We should have been there. Oh, we
We're
could have
close.
been. Oh,
We're close.
We're close."
Yeah.
And he listened to that. I think now he doesn't care about that because he knows what the offensive line should look like. He knows what it should do. He knows like that offense is his baby, right? So he knows how this thing is supposed to look and how it's supposed to go. So I think that Henson might have a little more leeway if Lincoln feels like, hey, offensive line wise, we just don't have the guys, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the recruits. We're trying to do the best we can with what we have. We might not just have it. I think they're bringing in guys to try to solidify because Monheim might not be the best center, right? But we're putting him there because we have to, right? So can we put him we move him over at guard? Can we move him back at tackle? What can we do with him to make him maximize his talents and be more effective? So yeah. I like the fact that we're bringing in more linemen, especially more old linemen to say, hey, this is what we need to do on this side of the football to make sure, like you said, our statue back here, you know what I mean? Compared to we've got our statue, we need to make sure he stays upright and can get the ball out on time. And is Lincoln going to call the game? And that's the other part. I think a lot of things got put on Lincoln. No, don't get me wrong. I put a lot on Lincoln, but our offensive line was terrible last year. Let's be clear about it. It was.
And the weird thing about it too was like I listened to another podcast and he was talking about the other day. He was like, "Oh, he thought during the Utah game." That was their best pass. That was their best performance of the year. And they had a really good front. They got NFL players on that front. And then they went back to doing something. I didn't understand why I don't know what the whole issue was last year. Because when they fixed it, it seemed like they fixed it in the Utah game. And then all of a sudden it fell back apart again. As far as that goes. So
what was game plan? It was game plan. If you think about it, look, and I was sitting in the stands, right? Because that game was on my birthday. And
you went to that game.
I'm sitting in the stands, and I'm like, we're playing this game like we want to play 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're playing this game because we punted way more than normal, right? Way more than normal. We punted that game. We're playing like it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We're playing like we want to play this physical matchup between us and Utah. And I'm like, why in God's name are we doing this? Outscore these dudes. Go for it on fourth down. Because we're pointing on 4th and 2s. Like silly stuff that I haven't seen Lincoln do. Like you went against to what you normally do. We could have beat this team, right? We had an opportunity to beat this team. And yes, they played well because, we decided to run the ball a little bit more, right? And then we would dump and Marshawn fumbled or whatnot. But still, we decided to play this, like I said, more smash mouth, if you want to call it that, more than Lincoln has ever really played.
Yeah.
And then the next weeks, guess what he does? We're going to open it up and air it out. So that's why I look different. That's exactly the reason why I look different. I'm like, this is not it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Brandon Marcello from CBS Sports, his top 30 for going into the season so far. Is this recruiting or just the season itself? This is I don't even see Notre Dame on here. That's interesting. All right, so I'm wondering. Okay. All right, so it's his top. We'll just go. We'll go to Ohio State's 1, Georgia's 2, Oregon's 3, Ole Miss is 4, Texas is 5, Alabama is 6, Michigan is 7, and USC is 8.
I can see us starting there in the season. I don't like it though.
Yeah, I think that's a little. That could be a little bit. I kind of view this as a team. Yeah, they got LSU. They have LSU and Penn State, 10 and 11. So 2 teams we play next year too as well too. So I mean, listen, right. to get if you're looking for quality victories, there's gonna be plenty of quality victories for USC.
I
mean, if they're judging that as far as that goes, going into the college football playoff. So we'll see about that. That could be a little high for me as far as that goes. Juju, Juju watch continues. He's going to the 30th first of this month. He's going to go to Indiana. I don't know if he watched the movie Hoosiers and just got, he wants to, he wants to see something. I get, so like I was like, what is the point? But you made a good point to me on the when we were texting back and forth, and I don't know if you want to go over that real quick about kids seeing everything.
Yeah, so I mean, as high school coaches, we tell kids all the time, go see everything, go get it all, right? You go out there, why not? This is the only time. You maximize this. The only time in your life, pretty much, you're gonna be able to do this, right? On a grand scale. So you go see everything. You may network with some kids, right? That may not have been coming to SC. That you come to SC next year, and then them kids don't like where they're at, and all of a sudden, guess what? You got them on the phone. They might flip to SC, right? Stuff like that. But you always tell somebody, you go visit, go take the visit. You know what I mean? Like I talk to trainers, especially here in Northern California when I was there. They tell them, go take the visit. What is no harm, no foul. You may not be able. You may not have no intention on going, but if they opened up a visit for you, go take the visit. Hell, get the merch. You know what I mean? Say you did it. You visited. You seen it. Because what you don't want to have, let's keep Indiana off the table, right? Let's say as a kid had an opportunity to go see, they had an opportunity to come to SC, and people are like, man, I don't see that kid going to SC. Why is he going to visit there? And then, or he has an offer and he doesn't come. You feel what I'm saying? He has an offer to come here, he doesn't come, and then he regrets it later on. I don't want none of my high school kids having any regrets.
Yeah,
I don't want them to have any regrets. Go see it. Go visit. Go. Hey, it's a couple of days. They're paying for it. What's the worst? The worst that's gonna happen is you already have in your mind you're gonna say no.
Yes. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So you're gonna get some merchandise. You're gonna take a couple pictures. You're gonna visit the town. They're gonna show you where all the good food spots are, and then you're gonna go back and play.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think I did see somebody say something about like he has some kind of, one of the guys from On 3 or 24/7 said he has like a relationship with somebody there. So like he could obviously, and also you could be doing somebody a solid too as well. You're clearly the number one quarterback. Like I saw him working out with
Derwin
James and them, and they were like, yo, like they know, like the players know, those guys know. They're not just amping somebody up because they have no reason to. They don't know him from a guy on the street, like, you know what I'm saying. Right. But they know how good he is, and I think because I mean you mentioned we talked about this on this show before too. Is like he can legitimately just play as a freshman. Like he really. I mean, I don't think there's any question in my mind he can play as a freshman. So he can spin it like nobody's business. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But I know people are just worried about that. I know. Listen, the DT thing, I think they're going to get some guys. I don't like the fact that they let some of the people who are already in house go when you don't have somebody lined up. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Fresno State is kind of just creeping, getting some former USC players every 5 seconds, so they can always make that claim as far as that goes. But yeah, but we'll see. Is there a? I think we're the only ones who's really talking about it, but like, it's like this whole like is like, are we 100% on Miller Moss?
No. I got no vote of confidence from the spring game. I'm gonna be honest. Like I seen the Holiday Bowl, but I need the vote of confidence from the spring game, which wasn't there. And I'm just gonna be perfectly honest. So to me, I want to see what they come up with Maava. Like I'd be more comfortable with him with Maava than because of our offensive line. I'm more comfortable with him than I am with Miller Moss. I'm gonna be honest. Like at the worst, just run the ball. Like, hey Lincoln, call the read options, let's go. Like that's what you got to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that's it. That's all. Like I don't care what else happens. Like at a certain point, at the end of the day, we got to move the sticks and keep our defense off the field. Keep our defense off.
But even if you have a great defense, that's still the philosophy. That's still the philosophy to keep him off the field, they keep him fresh, and don't give him any any short fields to deal with and stuff like that. So as far as that goes, I mean, I did like I said the running back room I think is a little bit underrated. I think they do have some players in there. I think Woody Marks. I don't think he's on the level of Lloyd, but I do think he has a great ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. So screen passes, things like that should be available.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. But like I said, I do like the roster, the secondary. You getting some really good pieces here. But I just need to see. And just give me 700 pounds of beef in that middle.
Yeah,
And that's it. That's it. Two players. I don't care if you get from JUCO. I don't care how low level you get them. Just get those big ass twos in.
Yeah, and get some rotation. We need the rotation. We need
rotation.
We can't rely on Bear every week in and week out. Like we can't. It's not gonna happen. You get that out your mind.
And you don't want to
plays.
Yeah, and you don't want to blitz crazy. Run blitz crazy, and then just open up your defense to play action or stuff like that all the time, and then and all of a sudden you have your corner, on a blitz, he misses that one play, and then it's a 60-yard run, right? I mean, so when you commit like that, that's the thing where you mentioned cornerbacks kind of have to be able to tackle. You do all that. And to compensate for your defensive tackle, you miss one, they miss a gap, they miss that play in the hole, then all of a sudden, it's
I mean, but the one thing I do like is we have good tackling linebackers, right? We have guys who can tackle. We have guys who can honestly that can tackle. I mean, it didn't look like that in the past, but we got guys that can tackle. And so to me, when I see this, right, my thing is, can we get 2 stops? I need 2 stops for Lincoln Riley, probably 3. I'll say 3. Give me 3 stops, and I feel like 2 of the 3 we're going to score. We're going to put up some points, right? So if we do that, then it takes you all completely out of your game plan. The one thing I looked at looking at the conference, I think they had the worst. They had I think 10 of the worst offenses last year in this conference. In
the
Big Ten.
In all of college football, they had 10 of the worst offenses in college football.
Worst offenses, right? So to me, I'm like, and people are like, well, that's because our defense is going so good. I'm like, no, it's because
that makes no sense.
Those offenses was just terrible. Yeah. Not every team in the Big Ten had good defense, right? Yeah. Those offenses were trash. Like they were not good. That's why I laugh at Kurt Ferentz. Like, Kurt, you got a good defense, my guy, but your offense is not going to win you any football games, and your offense ain't beating us either. Let's be clear.
I do think they are a little bit lucky that Iowa's not on the schedule this year. I think that would be the you remember the scene in the Remember the Titans where they say he tells them leave no doubt. Like that would be a game where Lincoln's gonna put up 70 if you can, because that's not a good. His comments made that's made no sense. I mean, you don't play him, and you don't play him. Right. At least this year. Next year they might play him, but you don't play him. So that's kind of crazy, but should be interesting, man. I mean, they got some interesting. It's like road home. So I'm not sure if I prefer the road home, or do I prefer just if I'm going to go to the East Coast, just let me go play.
Let me stay there.
I mean, let me just stay there and play Maryland and Minnesota back to back. But they are. I mean, they all do their work when they do their work. It's going to be on the computer with a tutor anyway. So it's not, they don't necessarily have to be in the classroom as far as that goes. All right. So anybody right? USC podcast. We touched on a bunch of different things. I know people were frustrated with the DT stuff. We talked about Josh Henson's little juju, and all the things that are going on with West SC right now. All right, Coach. Anything else?
No, I'm good as always. Fight on.
All right, fight on, brothers. Fight on. Take care.